Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 33. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The verse is there written? Okay. Aksharanam Karaha Asmi Dvandvaha Samasikasya Cha Aham Eva Akshayaha Kalaha Dhata Aham Vishvataha Mukhaha Aksharanamakarosmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Ahamevakshaya Kalo Dhatahang Vishvato Mukhaha Aksharanamakarosmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Ahamevakshaya Kalo Dhatahang Vishvato Mukhaha Aksharanamakarosmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Ahamevakshaya Kalo Dhataham Vishvato Mukhaha. Aksharanam, of letters. Akaraha, the first letter. Asmi, I am. Dvandvaha, the dual. Samasikasya, of compounds. Cha, and. Aham, I am. Eva, certainly. Akshayaha, eternal. Kalaha, time. Dhata, the creator. Aham, I am. Vishvataha, Mukhaha, Brahma. Lord Krishna says, of letters, I am the letter A. And among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Purport. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word like Rama, Krishna is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate, because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna, because in due course of time there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore he is a representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandva samasikasya cha aham evakshaya kalo dataham vishvato mukhaha. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namashreshtham Manamapi Shatiputramatra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupuring Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada writes that without akara nothing can be sounded. In the alphabet used in the English language, there are vowels and consonants. So the first consonant is B, and it's written as, well, you know how it's written, probably. But you can't say the consonant without having a vowel. It's not possible. However, you just can't say it. So the basic vowel is the basic vowel is And as you know, that's the first, and there's e, u, a, o, ri, li. These are all in Sanskritam, the vowels. It's the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, The vowels come first. So by Krishna, he says that here's the letter A. In English, you have to say A, but in Sanskritam, it's A. So by saying that he's the letter A, it means that he's number one. He's the first. That's the meaning of it. That which comes first. So everyone in this world wants to be number one. Even among the dogs, a few dogs get together, one of them wants to be the chief dog. Or all of them want to be the chief dog, but only one is. Even among the cows, you'll see. Chief cow establishes her position. There's a saying in English called the pecking order. It refers to chickens. Who gets the first peck of the food? The chief chicken. So if you have a strong desire to be number one, but according to your karma in this life, you can't be number one. You might get born as a chicken and become number one chicken in a group of chickens. Be careful. Everyone wants to be the greatest. But actually, Krishna is the greatest. Everyone wants to present themselves as being very great. But Krishna is actually great. If anyone speaks as Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, you will accuse them of boasting. Matah parataram nanyat kinjidasti. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there is no one and nothing that is greater than me. Not even slightly. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. Everything generates from me, Krishna says. So anyone can say this, but it's only true of Krishna. There are some people who like to meditate. They'll meditate on the mountain in the early morning, and as the sun is rising, they're imagining that I am making the sun rising. But they're not making the sun rise. It's only their imagination. So Krishna can say, I am the origin of everything. Everything emanates from me. If anyone else says that, they're just boasting, empty boasting. So Krishna knows his position very clearly. What is his position? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yo mam ajam, what is that? Janati Purushottamam. Yo mam eva samudho janati Purushottamam. Sasarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Krishna says, who knows me without doubting to be this supreme person, Uttam, the person above all others. Such a person knows everything and therefore worships me in all respects. So Krishna knows his position. He's not boasting when he says, I am the greatest. He actually is. If anyone else tries to promote themselves as great, they're simply a fool. Or if even one desires to be great, he's a fool. Krishna knows his position. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We don't know our position. That's why we're in this material world. The dog thinks, or actually the jiva in the body of a dog thinks, I am a dog. Not a dog. But he has no capacity in that life form to even consider that he's not a dog. He has no philosophical apparatus. He can think. A dog can think to some extent. Dog can be trained in various ways. But he has no philosophical ability whatsoever. So he's completely in the concept of thinking himself to be a dog. And a human being also, if he doesn't think, am I really this body? This is me. If he doesn't come to the platform of inquiring as to whether I am this body or something else, then he's just on the level of an animal. That we don't know our position is the cause of all our problems. Our position is that we are eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. Amai vangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Or as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jibe Shurup Hoi Krishna Nityadas. The eternal position of the living being is as the servant of Krishna. But because we identify with these bodies, we have so many problems. So many people come to me and say, "Oh, I have so many problems." Or sometimes they come and say, "I have one problem." I tell them, "You're very lucky. You only have one problem. Most people have many, many problems." And all of them that come and say, "Oh, I got this problem," they think that there's no one else in the world with any problems. They're the only one chosen by fate to suffer. Whatever their problem is, they think it's terrible, the worst thing that could ever happen. It's all due to Swarupa Brahm. This is the technical term. So, being illusioned about one's actual position. That is the cause of all our problems. So if someone comes to you and tells you, "I have so many problems," you just say, "No, you don't. You only have one problem. And you don't even know what it is." The real problem is that you don't know who you are. If you know who you are, then, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Jeev Krishna Das, Abhishas, Korleta Ardu Konai, Radha Krishna Bol Bol, Bolo Re Shobai." He says that every living being is a servant of Krishna. If we accept this, if we believe this, if we understand this, then we have no more suffering. And then what do? Chant Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna. Everyone chant. So it's a very simple formula to understand. But due to not knowing this, we suffer. Krishna doesn't suffer. He knows his position. And if we know our position, we don't suffer. Everyone has to know what their actual position is. But because we foolishly are ambitious to be great, as is Krishna, therefore we don't like to accept what is the actual fact. We are controlled. We're not independent. We're not the supreme enjoyer. This is amazing. I'm not the supreme enjoyer. The whole universe is not meant for my pleasure. No one actually says that everything in the world is meant for my pleasure. But everyone thinks like that and acts like that. Krishna knows everything. He has all opulences in full. Aishvaryasya samagrasya. He owns everything. He's the most powerful. He's the most famous. Viryasya yashasya shri. He's the most beautiful. So we all have desires to be opulent, powerful, knowledgeable. We want more money. Why do we want more money? Even if you earn 1 crore every second, and I doubt even if Mukesh Ambani earns that much, maybe a few lakhs every second. But still you can only eat as much as you can digest. Mukesh Ambani could order a huge feast of all nice preparations, but he can't. Even if you give him 1 time what Jagannath eats, he or anyone else will have a major digestive problem. Krishna, Jagannath in Puri, he eats so much. If you try to eat it, if one person tries to eat all at once what he eats only 1 time in a day, they'll be finished. So what's the use of earning so much money? It's just this desire to be opulent on the level of Krishna. What's this to be powerful? Someone tries to be very powerful by going to the gym and getting big muscles, or by political power, manipulation. Why? They want to be noticed by others, how powerful I am. That's all. Otherwise, if you can pick up a big weight, so what? If you have a big, strong body, what's the value actually? But because people are imitating Krishna, they want these opulences, virasya, yasha. They want to be famous. They want to be beautiful. How much in Hyderabad city? How many crores? Hundreds of crores of business is it? Beauty parlors, mehendi, lagana, then hairstyle, saris. Most women, so I'm told, have far more saris than they... Well, you can only wear one at a time anyway. They have so many saris to make them more and more beautiful. Yashasha Shriyaha Jnana. If someone is very knowledgeable, they want to show themselves as being very knowledgeable. Or someone, we were just talking as we were coming here about Kumbh Mela. So at the Kumbh Mela, there's an unspoken competition between all the sadhus. Who's got the longest jata, which shows he's the biggest sadhu. Jata, you all know this long matted hair, typical of sadhus. Some of them, they unfold it like a carpet. It may be 3 meters long, something very prestigious. How much tapasya you had to go through for hundreds of years, literally. The yogis live such a long time. And then they show their jata. So what was they grew that long hair just to show others, to have the petty, childish satisfaction that once every 12 years they come to Kumbh Mela and show they have long, matted hair. Very childish, imitating Krishna. Krishna doesn't have that jata. Maybe as Narayan Rishi he does. Otherwise his hair, Keshava, his name is Keshava, beautiful blackish hair. Long hair, yes, very beautiful. But we can't imitate Krishna. No, that's the whole point. Krishna knows everything. First thing he knows is who he is. If we know so many things, we can become the world spelling champion, or some quiz on TV. They have quiz shows. It's all imitating Krishna. If we don't know who we are, what's the use of knowing so many things? The most basic thing, who am I? I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. But we don't know who we are. Therefore we have to learn from Krishna who we are. Why is the Bhagavad Gita so important? Because from Bhagavad Gita we can learn, the first thing we learn is who we are. The first thing we learn from Bhagavad Gita is who we are not. We are not the body. When I'm a child, I think I'm a child. When I'm in youthful life, we think I'm a youth. In old age, I think I am an old man. And then when we're dead, then we think oh, I'm old, I'm dying. And what's his next words? The man, I'm old, I'm dying. And his next words, he changes his language. He gets a dog's body. So the first thing we learn is what we are not. And then we learn who we are. We are eternal spirit souls, eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So we have to learn from Krishna who we are. The Bhagavad Gita is so valuable, the best knowledge, because it teaches who we are. Who we are, what is our relationship with Krishna. And it's very unfortunate that people do not take Bhagavad Gita as it is. They study Bhagavad Gita, but they don't understand the whole point of Bhagavad Gita is to teach us that we are eternal servants of Krishna. But instead they somehow or other, they get out of the Bhagavad Gita the message that we are all God. It's absurd. It's absurd, completely mad. How can they say? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Srila Prabhupada gave the example. I presume it's a Bengali proverb that someone, after reading the whole Ramayana, they said, I read the whole Ramayana, but I just have one major question in my mind. Who is Sita the husband of? It's completely, you can't even begin to answer the question. It's so insane. Because obviously Sita is not the husband of anyone. I mean, if you read Ramayana, you have to know that Sita is the wife of Rama. She can't be the husband of anyone because she's a female. So it's just completely absurd. So going through Bhagavad Gita and then thinking that we're all God, when the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to establish that Krishna is supreme and we're all subordinate to him, and somehow they go through it and they come up with some understanding that Krishna represents this and Kurukshetra represents that. The 5 Kurukshetra represents the body, and the 5 Pandavas are the 5 senses, and all kinds of insane interpretations just to avoid the fact which they don't like, obviously. Otherwise they just accept it. The fact that Krishna is supreme and we have to surrender to him. Otherwise, when Krishna says, Mame kam sharanam raja, savadhaman parityaja, mame kam sharanam raja, and then in a perverse way someone thinks, well, Krishna means God and I'm God, so it means surrender to myself, so it means do whatever I like. But then they don't have to read Bhagavad Gita because everyone's already doing whatever they like. The whole thing's absolutely absurd. So we have to learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada establishes this in his introduction to Bhagavad Gita. It's very important. When you read Bhagavad Gita as it is, don't skip the introduction. The whole point is, Bhagavad Gita can be understood by devotees. Krishna spoke to Arjuna. Why? Arjuna was not a great Vedantist, he was not a great scholar, he was not a Brahmin, he was not a renunciant, he was, on the other hand, he was a politician, he was a fighter, he was a married man. But Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti, rahasyam hi etaduttamam. I'm speaking this great mystery of Bhagavad Gita to you because you are my devotee and my friend. And Krishna again underlines this point. Bhakta tvananyaya labhyas. Again and again in Gita he says, Krishna can be gained, Krishna can be understood by undivided devotion. Bhaktya mama vijanati. Krishna can be properly known through devotion. Again and again, Krishna gives this point. So Bhagavad Gita should be heard, explained and understood from someone who has learned and heard and understood Bhagavad Gita from a proper devotee of Krishna who can properly explain Bhagavad Gita. Of course, it's not merely academic. Bhagavad Gita is a call to action. Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight for him. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a call to everyone to act for Krishna. not necessarily as Arjuna did. In most cases, not exactly like Arjuna did by fighting, but whatever we do, we should do for Krishna. Yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yad tapasyasi kauntaya, tat karoshva madarpanam. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever sacrifices you perform, whatever charity you give, whatever austerities you perform, you do it as an offering to me. So someone who actually lives by this and sets that example can show us how to do it. One reason why so many people came to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and adopted the spirit of sacrifice to Krishna was because Srila Prabhupada himself showed that by his example, by his complete surrender to the will of Krishna. So Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, yad yad acharti shreshtas tattadeve taro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartate. The best people in society, their behavior is followed by others. Unfortunately, in modern society, the most degraded people are considered the best. People don't know what is the best. Andhaya thandaya rupaniya manaste pisha tantramurudam nibadha. This is stated in Prahlad's instructions in Srimad Bhagavatam. So many important instructions we get from Prahlad. That the people are, in general, they are blind and they're following other blind people. And in this way they remain very tightly bound in material existence. So, if we can actually understand who is the best, who can best benefit us, we will follow the path of the Bhagavatas, of the pure devotees, and understand from them that the best position is to be the servant of Krishna. Now we say, well, that's not the best. How is the best position to be a servant? The best position must to be Krishna himself. Well, that's true. The best position is Krishna. I don't need it. So, thank you. The best position is that of Krishna. That's true. But for us, the best position is to be a servant of Krishna, because we cannot become Krishna. The best position we can attain is to be the servant of Krishna. There's no question of us becoming Krishna. That to think like that is offensive, because we cannot be Krishna. So this is the mistake, that people think they want to be the best without understanding that really the best situation is for us is not to dominate others and show that we're better than others, but simply to recognize that Krishna is the best and serve him. To give up the idea that I will be the best and I will show myself to be better than others. This is our disease, to think like this. Unfortunately, in this material world, we have this perverse way of thinking. Therefore, I was quoting that. The Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that Jiva viparita buddhi parivartan karai. The endeavor to transform the opposite consciousness of the conditioned souls is Sarva Pekha Doyamai. I'm just trying to remember. Ekmatrai Kartavya. He said the only duty of merciful persons is to try to change, transform the opposite way of thinking of the conditioned souls. And help just try to convince them that we are all the servants of Krishna. They may wonder why I'm saying this, because we all understand this. That's why we're here. We've come here to hear about Krishna consciousness, which begins with the understanding that I am a servant of Krishna. So we may think, well, we all understand that. We're servants of Krishna. Yeah, but there are levels of understanding. There is theoretical understanding, and the practical understanding is when we apply ourselves fully in devotional service to Krishna, to Hari Krishna, Guru and Vaishnavas. This was a term that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used again and again. Hari Guru Vaishnav, or he would sometimes sign his letters, Hari Guru Vaishnav Kinkara, humble servant of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. In his writings and his speaking, he would say that serving Hari Guru Vaishnava Seva by the mercy of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. So it was a phrase that he would often use. So this is Krishna consciousness. To understand that we are servants of Krishna, or even more specifically, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught, Gopi Bhatur Pada Kamalayo Dasu Dasa Anudasaha. That we are servants of the servants of the. We should identify ourselves as the servants of the servants of the servants of the Gopi, the Krishna, who is the maintainer of the Gopis. Even Srila Prabhupada said that it's standard Gauriya understanding, or Vaishnava understanding, that we cannot approach Krishna directly. We should not be so presumptuous. We have to go through the parampara system. We have to go through Guru, and the Guru himself identifies himself as the servant of his Guru, all the way up to Radha. She also thinks herself to be the servant of Krishna. So this understanding, we're servants of Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. But the idea that I am the best, I should be the best, this we have had lifetime after lifetime. When I was in the body of a dog, I was trying to show I'm the top dog. When I was in the body of a flea, you know what a flea is? You have the word for it. Anyway, you can say of an insect. When I was in the body of an insect, I wanted to show I was the best insect. I'm the best cockroach. I can eat more stool than any other cockroach. This is our disease. So we may not just throw it off very quickly. Even in devotional service, we can carry this contamination and want to show that I am the best. I am the best leader. I can quote more shlokas than anyone. I am the best mridanga player. I am the most austere. Everyone should notice. Or if we're not good at something, then we want to show we're the worst. It may be also. Somehow you have to distinguish yourself. But we're not the best anything. And we're not the most humble. I'm the most humble. No, I'm the most humble. Boasting, who is the most humble? I've heard it said, I don't know if it's an actual anecdote, but sounds like it's true, that a devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. And Prabhupada said, you're not the most anything, you're just insignificant. How's that for cutting the ego? Whew! Srila Prabhupada detected in that statement, I am the most fallen. He detected in that a desire for self-glorification. Because the actual pure devotees, they really feel like that. Just like Narottam Das says, that Patita pavana hetu tava avatar moshama patita prabhu na paibaya. Addressing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that you have descended into this world to purify the fallen, but you won't find a more fallen than me. So I think, oh, Narottam Das, he's actually the topmost Vaishnava, but he presents himself as the most fallen. So if I say I'm the most fallen, then others will also think I'm a very exalted devotee. We may not even recognize within our own minds this perverse mentality of wanting to show ourselves to be better than we actually are. And when that tendency becomes exacerbated or increased, then we come to the platform of kapat dharma, or duplicity. Duplicity means to try to fool others for our own advantage. And one aspect of that can be to show ourselves to others to be better than we actually are. And who am I to say that, sitting up on this big seat above all of you, taking the role of guru before all of you? Well, that's ordered by Krishna and by Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if a guru is sitting on a big seat and he doesn't identify himself to, despite the role he has to play, if he does not identify himself as the servant of the Vaishnavas, then he is in the position of Roma Harshana Sutta, who is sitting on a big seat. But when Balaram came, he failed to recognize who is actually great. I'm sitting on this big seat. Why? Because I'm supposed to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead personally comes and he fails to recognize the greatness of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, he became puffed up. So unless we fully identify with the role of being servant of the Vaishnavas, then this tendency to show oneself to be better than one actually is, that can completely impede our advancement in Krishna consciousness and actually make us offensive to others. Then we start to criticize others for no reason, and to try to show that we are better than others. We may start to boast. When Krishna says here, Aksharana Makarosmi, among letters, I am the first letter. In other words, I am the best. In this whole section from the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is pointing out, he is the best. Whatever you see is the best in any class, even among the demons. Praladas chasmi daityanam. Among the demons, who's the best? Prahlad. So Prahlad is a representation of me. Rama Shastrabritamaham. There's so many examples given. Among bearers of weapons, I am Rama. And the Acharyas explain that this means Parashuram. So Krishna is saying, I am the best. Whenever you see anything glorious, wonderful, yad yad vibhuti mad sarvam srimad urjitam eva va tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejong sasambhavam. Whatever you see which is glorious, wonderful, extraordinary, know that it is born from but a spark of my splendor. That is Krishna's position. So it might be that in our personality, as we have got it just now, because what is our personality now? That is a particular combination of the three modes of material nature. Purusha prakriti stohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. We attain different bodies within the three modes of material nature due to our association with that nature. So in a particular body that we have and a particular mind that goes with it, mindset that goes with it, we may have a very big, strong body, or we may have a very strong brain, strong intelligence, we may have exceptional abilities, we may have. But we should know that whatever abilities we have, they're given by Krishna. And Krishna can take them away. And whatever abilities we have, that is only a tiny, tiny spark of Krishna's ability. Just like in recent times in India, the most beautiful woman has been advertised to be this Aishwarya Rai. And I think she's probably over the hill, as they say. She must be past 40 years old now. And after 40, you need a lot of makeup to try to look beautiful. And don't come too close. But whatever her beauty, after all, it's only skin, muscle, fat, blood, hair, bone, kidneys, marrow, and so on. And the representation of beauty is only a tiny, tiny, tiny spark of the actual beauty of Radha and Krishna. So in the same way, someone may be very rich, Bill Gates, very rich, but it's nothing compared to what Krishna has. So what to speak? Among ourselves, any group of people they want to show to their friends that they're better than others. Why do people buy a car for, you can buy cars now in India, I think for 20 crores or something like that. Is it? Maybe not that much, but a simple Maruti probably costs what, 5 lakhs, something like that. But you can buy a car for 5 crores or more. Doesn't make that much. As far as the purpose of a car is to go from one place to another, and that purpose is served just when you're stuck in a traffic jam. The same purpose is served. The 20 crore car doesn't go any faster than the Maruti. And mostly the people who buy these cars are in cities which are full of traffic jams. So why do they spend? And another point is that when you buy a car, the moment you buy it, the value or the price that you paid comes down. If you want to resell it, the next moment, you'll get less price. And after 1 year, it'll probably be down at least 30, 40, 50%. The exception is Rolls-Royce cars, because they're considered a collector's item. So practically by buying such an expensive car, they're deliberately losing money. Why do they do it? Well, it's more comfortable, it's more safe. That's not the reason. It's just to show off that they're better than others. To show that they can they have so much money that they can waste it just for some prestige symbol. That's all. To own such a car is a symbol of one's egoism and foolishness. Of course, Srila Prabhupada sometimes went in a Rolls-Royce car also. And the newspaper reporters, they criticized, why are you going in such a fancy car? And Prabhupada said, actually it's not so good. God goes in a gold car. So actually this Rolls-Royce car is not even good enough, because I'm his representative. In this way, he left the reporters speechless. So the representatives of God, they may sometimes show off some kind of worldly opulence. Why? Because people are fools and they are attracted by such things. As Srila Prabhupada said, concerning he said this in Mayapur, when the Mayapur project was in its initial stages. And he said, Srila Prabhupada said that if I sit in this field and talk on Bhagavad Gita, no one will come to here. But if I build a big temple, people are saying, oh, very important Swami built a big temple. Okay, let's go and hear what he has to say. So that prestige concept can be used for preaching, but we should be careful not to misuse it. Acceptance of sannyas was done by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because people were not listening to his message. So he thought, well, people respect sannyasis, so let me take sannyas, and then they'll listen to what I have to say. And the same reason is going on up to the present day. What I'm saying is important, not because I have this stick up behind and I'm a sannyasi, but because it is the same message that Krishna spoke, and all through the parampara, the acharyas have spoken. But if I have the sannyas danda, then people think, oh, should be more important. Of course, with the sannyas danda goes the commitment to act in a manner as prescribed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. That's also there. That's another reason. Anyway, the whole point is that even though in devotional service we may use some prestige symbols, but we should always understand that we're simply meant to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Vaishnavas. That is our position. Krishna is the supreme, and we are his servants, 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 servants. Easy thing to understand. So we should be cautious if we happen to hear a devotee who boasts and says, my project is the best. I'm going to do such a project that no one has ever seen before. Or they like you to know what big programs they're doing, or so on and so on and so on. In other words, they may work very hard in devotional service, but their aim is not so much to please Krishna as to promote themselves as being a great devotee, to outdo others. Someone may say, you see, I used to be an engineer with a high position, and I gave it all up to serve Krishna. Or someone may think that if someone has a university degree, they must be a better devotee than someone who doesn't have high educational qualifications. Because if they had a big degree, they could have earned lots of money, and those who don't have a degree, they presume are only coming to fill their belly. So this is actually a very offensive way of thinking. There may be some truth that someone who had more to give up, that's something laudable. But that's only if you consider that anyway material life is something desirable. If you think that to have the position of a rich man in human society is more desirable than to have the position of a poor man, then you might think it's more laudable, or someone from a rich background as a devotee who gave it up is better than someone who's not from a rich background. But if you understand that rich or poor, it's all nonsense, it's all the cause of suffering, it's not our actual position, then these things, they don't matter at all. It doesn't matter. Of course, if you have wealth, you can give it all to Krishna, very good. We'll use it in Krishna's service. But it's not that by giving something to Krishna that you're necessarily better. Krishna will appreciate if we give to him. Pranarartha dhyavacha shraya acharanam sada. We're supposed to perform welfare activities for others with our very life energy, with our money, with our intelligence and our words. So if someone does so, though, they're much better than someone who doesn't. But if we do so with the expectation that others will praise us, then that's not devotional service. It's just another way to indulge in the childish propensity of showing off. There is a story or a parable, not really a parable, told by Lord Jesus. It comes in the New Testament. Something I remember from my childhood. It's very instructive. Many, many good things Jesus Christ taught. Anyway, I'll tell you that in the temple, the Jewish temple, there were some priests, and they were making big offerings, offering large amounts of money and gold, and making a big ceremony so that everyone could see it. And at the same time, in another part of the temple, there was a poor widow who had almost nothing in terms of money. But whatever money she had, she gave it for the service of God. But even all her money together was only a very, very tiny amount. And the priests, they were giving huge amounts of gold and everything. But still, the huge amount was only a fraction of their actual wealth. So they were giving a fraction of their wealth, and they were making sure everyone could see that they were giving it. So Jesus said that the priests, let's put it around. The widow, she gets her reward in heaven because she did it not for show. There's nothing to show anyway, because no one cares for a poor widow and her tiny offering. So she wasn't doing it for show, but she was doing it because she had a feeling she wanted to offer to God. So Jesus said she gets her reward in heaven, and the priests, they get their reward here on this earth. What is their reward? That people will think, oh, they're very great. Instructive, is it not? So even in devotional service, if we do it with the aim that I will get some position and fame, and others will glorify me, others will look up to me, well, we may get some praise in this life, but we won't please Krishna. We will please our own ego, but we won't please Krishna. And what happens in this actually materialistic consciousness of wanting to be noticed and praised is that we become envious of others. And someone else is praised. Oh, no, I did so much more devotional. So, see, they're doing that, but actually we'll try to put others down and promote ourselves up. In other words, it's all on the materialistic platform. So it might be that even within the Krishna conscious movement, someone is very successful in building temples, making projects, distributing books, so-called making devotees. But it's not necessarily on the spiritual platform at all, if it's all done for name and fame, and they're boasting. They want others to see, oh, my project is the best. Just see my project, this, that, showing off. Doing everything so that they can be praised by others. As I was saying earlier in the day, that someone may look very good, but if you point out, you just prod a little bit in their material desire, point out their materialistic propensities. They cannot tolerate being corrected, even by their guru, and they may propagate to others. You see, the guru is wrong. If you think your guru is wrong, then why did you ever accept a guru? Then you're a fool for accepting him in the first place. Guru is wrong, but guru can be wrong, but I can't be wrong. That's the insinuation. They just rascaldom. That's simply rascaldom, driven by egoism, that no one should ever criticize me. Even my guru isn't qualified to criticize me. Then why did you accept a guru in the first place? There's no real surrender to guru, no real desire to be Krishna conscious. No love for Krishna or for anyone else. Even they may do things for others to help them, but it's not out of love. It's to ingratiate the other person to them. It's all calculated. They may take care of others just so they can control them in this, not actually connected to Krishna. So this boasting is or showing oneself to be good, and not even recognizing if one, it's not a matter of shame if it's pointed out that there's some fault or mistake or something we have to rectify. It shouldn't be a matter of shame that I'm conditioned in this material world, I require to be corrected. But someone who is insanely on an ego trip, they cannot tolerate anything which they think will lower their prestige in the eyes of others. We see the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, some of them he chastised very strongly. Often they stayed and took the chastisement. Some of them, not all. They stayed and they took the chastisement and they went on with their service. And they became stronger by taking that chastisement. They became purified by doing that. But someone who cannot accept being corrected, then they cannot make any progress. So we have to be very careful who we associate with. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned about pseudo-devotees. He's warned about subtle contaminations within the heart by which we may appear to be in devotional service, but not actually. So we can simply pray to Krishna. It may be difficult for us to understand whose association can actually help us, and whose association will drag us down. So if we're sincere, we have to pray to Krishna. Pray to Krishna and take the guidance from Shastra also. We can understand from Shastra what should be done and what should not be done. Pravriting cha nivriting cha janana vidura suraha na shocham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. In the demoniac persons, Krishna says, the demoniac persons do not know what is proper behavior and what is not proper behavior. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So the first thing a devotee should know is what is proper behavior and what is improper behavior. We have 4 regulated principles: no illicit sex, no gambling, no meeting, no intoxication. That is the minimum standard. But we should know that this is for everyone. No one has any special prerogative. No illicit sex means we have to be very careful. There are many warnings in Shastra. Matra swasra duhitrava naviviktasano bhavet. Balavan indriya gramo vidvang sang mapi karshati. That no one should sit very close even to their mother, sister or daughter, because the senses are so powerful that even a learned person can be overcome by sensual desire. The warnings are there that one should be very careful in dealings with the opposite sex. Otherwise there'll be trouble. There are so many examples in Shastra of fire and butter. If you bring butter next to a fire, it will melt. So in the same way, if males and females, they interact, there will be some melting. The consciousness will become contaminated. There are so many warnings. So yadyadachati shreshtas. Those who are spiritual leaders, they have to set the proper example. Otherwise, people will follow a bad example and they'll go to hell. Actually, in the early days of the movement in the Western countries, Srila Prabhupada, he had a female servant. Means there was Gaurasundar Das and Govinda Das, husband and wife, and they would serve him together. But later, he would only keep male servants. He set an ideal example of sannyas. When he saw that his disciples, they were not following properly the no illicit sex, They'd take the vow and then again they would not follow it properly. Then Srila Prabhupada himself, he kept around him only male disciples. For Srila Prabhupada there was no question of falling down, but he wanted to set that proper example. If there is wrong or just loose intermixing of the sexes, then that will cause disaster in spiritual life. For our farm projects, this is also very, very important. If there's any improper mixing of males and females, that will lead to gross fall down, illicit sex, and the whole thing will be spoiled. So this principle is so important. It doesn't mean that one's on the spiritual platform necessarily just by following these principles. But without following these principles, one cannot come to the spiritual platform. Do you see the difference? If one is following no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, that doesn't mean he's spiritual. Doesn't necessarily, but one cannot rise to the spiritual platform unless these principles are followed. So, we should be very careful in our association, who we take guidance from, understanding that everything should be done in a manner that is conducive for our spiritual advancement, as understood through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Most people, they don't take the trouble to try to understand the teachings of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. I'm always emphasizing again and again, read Prabhupada's books, hear his lectures, try to understand, then we won't be misled. Otherwise the possibility for that is just too high. It's so easy to mislead others in the name of spiritual life. For that matter, what's that? We have now the whole Prabhupada audio library. You can all audio and video that's available there on the book table. Everyone should read all of Srila Prabhupada's books and hear all his lectures. Some people, they just don't have the habit of reading. If you can read, it's better. If you can't, at least you hear Prabhupada's lectures. That will benefit you immensely if you're actually serious to advance in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. I'll finish there. We'll go for Harinam Sankirtan now. I may just join you for a short time, as I've been having some pain in my ankles. Those of you who are in Sri Rangam recently, you may have seen that I was carried in the Harinam to the Kaveri because I was having so much pain in my ankles. I joined the Harinam, but not by walking. Yeah, tell them about this then. Take the mic. Hare Krishna.